What is up, and welcome back to another episode of Blood and Beer, the show where we talk blood sport and we drink beer. I'm your host, Matt, and as always, we're drinking some beer, we're talking some MMA. Big show today. We're doing UFC 303 preview. Huge card. It's been through the fucking wash. It was McGregor, now it's Pereira versus Prohaska. Can't wait. We'll get into that, and then we're going to be making some picks, and we'll throw some bets down, see how they do. Beer we're drinking today, we're drinking some Budweiser. All right. So this card's stacked. I mean, it started off, it was kind of an card other than the McGregor fight. When McGregor fell through, people were like, shit, this card's fucked. Like, what are they going to do? 2 weeks notice, no champions on it, not really a super strong card for a pay-per-view. In comes Alex Poatan Pereira and Yuri Prohaska, ready to run it back for the light heavyweight strap. So that's going to be the headliner. And then they went ahead and threw in Brian Ortega versus Diego Lopez as the co-main event. So now this card's just absolutely stacked. Anthony Smith's going to be fighting Roman Dolidze. I think that's going to be a barn burner also. We're going to be making some picks today. What we're going to do, we're going to start out with $1,000, make some picks. This is going to be based on yesterday's odds. And then we'll see how we do, and we'll keep track week to week how much money we're up or down. All right, with that being said, our first fight, though, we got Ricky Simone coming in as a minus 250 favorite, taking on Vinicius Oliveira, plus 205 dog. And, Ricky Simone, he's a vet. He's a good wrestler. Doesn't have great top control, but he's got a strong overhand right. He's got some power there. Oliveira, he's a lot more dynamic striker kind of guy. He's got a lot of power. His last fight, he won by flying knee knockout, but he had the dude on skates before that. And Ricky Simone's shown in the past to be a little bit chinny, so I could really see Vinicius Oliveira starting the card off 303. He says, I want to get a bonus. I'm going to get a knockout, but I'm throwing $50 on Oliveira at plus 205, and the comeback on that is 152.50. So our first bet, Vinicius Oliveira, $50. And then our next fight, I'm not throwing any money on this, but it's interesting to pick a dog in this kind of fight. It's let me get this right. Tsuruya taking on Carlos Hernandez. Tsuruya minus 485 favorite to Hernandez plus 385. Now, Tsuruya, he's 22 years old, undefeated out of Japan. He won the Road to UFC tournament a couple years ago, or last year maybe. He's taken on a vet in Carlos Hernandez. He's only got 12 fights, but he's been around. Dude's got good wrestling defense at least. He's got good boxing there also, though. I don't think he's got a strong shot to win, but this Tsuruya guy, he has absolutely no striking. He starts off the fight and shoots the takedown right away, tries to get a lot of control. He's going to look for submissions, but his bread and butter is just control. So if Carlos Hernandez can stuff the takedowns, I think that as the older guy, he might be able to fluster Tsuruya. Could possibly overwhelm him on points. So it's a big step up to be fighting in the UFC. It's not people out of that Road to UFC tournament. I could see Hernandez winning at that plus 385 number. I love it, but I'm not putting money on it because I don't think it's going to happen. We'll just have to wait and see. Next fight, also not going to make a pick on this, but I love the fight. Andrei Arlovsky taking on Martin Buday. Arlovsky's coming in at plus 210 as the dog. Buday coming back minus 260. And Arlovsky, love him, but he's 45, almost 46 years old. He lost his last 3 fights. 2 of them are by knockout, I believe. And, he's just kind of losing it. I hate to see it. Now he's taking on Martin Buday. He's not a super athletic heavyweight, but he's huge, and he really likes to hold guys up against the fence and work there, throw knees and elbows, short punches. I could see Buday catching a hold of Arlovsky for 3 rounds and just holding him up against the fence here. I could see that happening, but I could also see Arlovsky. He's shown to be good by popping his jab and moving, just stick and move because he knows he can't sit there and trade. He lost his chin years ago. I'm picking Buday in this. I'm not throwing any money down, but I would love to see Arlovsky get a win and maybe retire because he is old as dirt. I mean, he's been fighting since the UFC pre-100 days, so he was a champion pre-UFC 100. All right, next fight we have excuse me, we have Michelle Waterson Gomez taking on Jillian Robertson. Good Lord, got the burpees. All right, Waterson, karate hottie they call her. She was great in her prime. She was really electric. She lit the UFC on fire. She came in at that Sage Northcutt, Paige Van Zant hype train where the UFC was trying to get really marketable young fighters. She's a lot older now. She's 38. I think she's on a 3-fight losing skid. And in this fight, I just don't see a path to victory for her. She's a plus 154 dog, but I don't like those numbers. Robertson, jiu-jitsu ace. Jillian Robertson is, and Michelle Gomez, Waterson Gomez, she's shown to be susceptible to submissions in the past. She has great takedown defense, and that is where Jillian Robertson struggles, is in the wrestling. But I gotta throw $100 on Jillian Robertson here, and I think the comeback on that is 185. So we'd be profiting $85 there. But yeah, I just really like Jillian Robertson. If you want to juice it up by picking a submission on that, because I think that's how she gets it done. I don't think it's going to go to the judges' scorecards. But yeah, Waterson, just not a huge path to victory here. Her striking, it's slowed down a lot, and she's not the same fighter she once was. She's not as dynamic, not as quick. I just don't think she's going to have any answers for Robertson. Next fight, rising star Peyton Talbot. Yesterday it was minus 1,600. Today I think he's closer to minus 2,000. That's who we're picking in this against Giannis Gamori. I just don't think he's going to have any problem starching this dude. He was plus 900 yesterday, Gamori was, but he's just not a super athletic fighter. He's not better than Talbot anywhere. Talbot's a great wrestler, great jiu-jitsu. His striking's electric. I think what's going to happen is he's going to get him out of there in the second or third, just because he said he's hunting a first-round finish. I don't know if it's going to happen. He could definitely do it, but he's more of a drown you with pressure kind of fighter, so I think second or third we're going to see him get that finish there. But no money on the card or on that fight. We're not going to waste time on a minus 2,000, minus 1,600 favorite. It's just ridiculous. He might close as the biggest favorite in UFC history, which would be insane. All right, this fight's going to be a fun one. I really can't wait for this one. Charles Air Jourdain taking on Gian Silva. Jourdain minus 118, Silva minus 102. So it's really it's pick 'em pretty much. This fight's going to be all action though. Charles Jourdain's foot is always on the gas. He's always moving forward with crazy strikes. He's just always looking for the action. Doesn't care if he's going to get hit. He wants to bring the fight. Sometimes he loses fights by doing that because he'll lose moments, but it's just all action. He's super fun. And then Gian Silva, this dude's a power puncher. He's got a lot of strength. He's not got a lot of experience, though, and Jourdain does. He's been fighting for a while. He's been in the UFC for a while. I could see, I think this fight's going to the distance no matter what, but I think if Jourdain gets past that first 2 or 3 minutes, he's going to be fine. He's going to be able to outwork him. I don't think he's getting the stoppage, but I think he'd win at least 2 rounds to 1. Probably 3-0. I got $100 on Charles Air Jourdain. That wins you 184.50. All right, next fight we got Cub Swanson plus 200 dog. Andre Touchy Feely minus 245. Love the odds in this. Love Cub Swanson in this fight. I don't think Cub's amazing by any means, but his chin's still there for an older fighter. He's got the speed. He's got the pop to his punches. He's not fighting a grappler that's going to hold him down where he has trouble getting back up. Andre Feely, dude's athletic as hell, comes out on fire, but if he doesn't get that finish in the first half of that first round, he's pretty much done. And the thing about Feely, minus 245 favorite. I hate that because he's 4 months off of a knockout loss against Dan Ige. And it was a brutal knockout. I mean, flatlined him. So I got $50 on Cub Swanson in this one to win $150 at the plus 200 odds. I can't wait for that one. I think that's going to be decision, and then Cub Swanson's going to walk away and retire. So we're going to have 2 retirements, hopefully both going out on wins. Andre Arlovsky, Cub Swanson. Let's go. All right, and then our final prelim. Joe Pyfer is taking on Marc-Andre Barriault. Joe Pyfer, he's a minus 298, so we'll call it minus 300 favorite, taking on plus 240 in Marc-Andre Barriault. Very tough vet. He's got good striking. He's real technical. High fight IQ. He's all there. He's tough. He's good everywhere, but I think Joe Pyfer is just going to be too explosive for him, too powerful. The dude's huge for the weight class at 185. And his wrestling's good, submission's good, striking's good. He's going to either land a knockout bomb or he's going to pick this dude up, slam him, and get the finish that way. But I don't see it going the distance. So Joe Pyfer, he's a minus 300 favorite. But if we pick him inside the distance by KO or TKO, that's how I have it. It's plus 140. So $100 pays you out 240. I love those odds on Joe Pyfer. And then now we're getting to the main card where the real fights are. Where the real awesome fucking fights are. All right, Michael Venom Page taking on Ian Machado Gary. Yen Gary's a minus 145 favorite to plus 125 on MVP. Two excellent strikers, very different types of strikers. Where MVP, he's a fucking wizard. I mean, you don't know where it's coming from, what angle. He's throwing it from every which way. It's hard to describe it because it's not even like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. It's like him, but a lot more swag in it. Dude, he's got it. He's a fucking wizard with his striking. It's hard to describe. Unorthodox, to say the least. Ian Gary, super technical, very accurate striker. He's methodical. He likes to download information and pick his shots. Like I said, very accurate. Doesn't miss a lot, but sometimes it slows him down on throwing a lot. A lot of power in both men. I got MVP in this one. It's a tough pick. That's why the odds are as close as they are. But I'm picking the dog in this at plus 124. $100 to win you 224 on MVP. Can't beat it. And I just think Ian Gary, he's looking past him a little bit, and I don't know how you deal with the problem that is MVP if you're not a wrestler, a super great wrestler, because he's got good takedown defense. And Ian Gary, I hear he's a vegan now. I hear that's why he didn't do so great against Jeff Neal. I hear that he's only having to cut like 10 pounds at camp, which is insane because the dude's massive for 170. I mean, huge. But if he's only weighing 180 on fight night, MVP, he's a big dude too, both 6'3", but he doesn't look near as big as Gary. He's probably 190 or 200 on fight night. I like MVP at these odds of plus 124, plus 125, so $100 to win you 225. I can't wait for that one. Make me some money, MVP. I picked against you in your opener because I'm a Kevin Holland super fan. I regret it. I still love Kevin Holland, but man, dude, he's a fucking wizard. Anthony Lionheart Smith. He stepped in on short notice. This fight right here, absolute clusterfuck. You know, it started as Jamal Hill taking on Khalil Roundtree. Number one contender fight, they were billing it as. And then Khalil Roundtree, he popped for steroids, got a 2-month suspension or something like that. Or PEDs, not necessarily steroids, not sure what it was. So Jamal Hill, he's looking for opponent. Up steps Carlos Ulberg, great striker, not in the top 15, but he's looking to get in there. Jamal Hill says, I'm game, I'm ready to get an easy win, give it to me. Great fight right there, two high-level strikers, knockout for sure. Well, then Jamal Hill gets hurt. So who steps in? Anthony Lionheart Smith to take on this nobody and in Carlos Ulberg. Nobody to him, at least. He's been around the block, fought for the title. He's fighting a no-ranked fighter. He says, I'm game. I'm ready to step in 2 weeks' notice. So we got Anthony Smith taking on Carlos Ulberg. That's the fight, right? Carlos Ulberg pulls out due to injury a week ago. Not even. Anthony Smith needs a fight. We need another fight for the main event, for the main card. Roman Dolidze says, I'll step in on a week's notice, and I'll move up from 185 to 205. I can't wait for this fight. It's going to be a barn burner. I think Anthony Smith does his best work when he steps in on short notice. He doesn't have to worry about overanalyzing fights because he's such a cerebral fighter. He kind of overanalyzes, and then he'll wait and let the fight pass him by. I think he just goes out there and fights. He's fighting a smaller guy that's not going to overwhelm him with pressure or athleticism. Dolidze's not a young guy either, so both guys strike. Both guys got a pretty good chin. I know Smith got knocked out by Khalil Roundtree, but Roundtree's a fucking dog. I mean, hits like a truck. And he was on PEDs, so no shit he knocked him out. Good Lord, I'm sorry about it. I got Smith in this, though. I just have a good feeling. Both of them great in jiu-jitsu. It's going to cancel it out. It's going to be a striking affair. I think Anthony Smith gets it done. He's just going to... God damn, I got the burpees. He's just going to outpoint him. Which brings us... Oh, anyways, 100 on Anthony Smith. Same odds as MVP yesterday, +2 or +125. So 100 wins you 225 on that one. And then Brian Ortega versus Diego Lopez. Brian T-City Ortega stepping in short notice. This dude hardly fights at all, and now he's fighting twice in the first half of the year. Love to see it. He's a +120 dog. Diego Lopez -142. This is such a tough fight to pick. I mean, Lopez is on fire. He's been going out there and just starching dudes. T-City's got the best chin next to Max Holloway at 145, and his chin is no fucking joke. He's not getting knocked out. They're having to stop it on the stool. The ref's having to step in because he's getting the shit beat out of him a lot of times. I don't see that happening with Diego Lopez, though. I don't see him pressuring him the way he's been pressured by Volk and pressured by Max. And Diego Lopez is the hot pick. He's the guy. He's got the jiu-jitsu. He's got the striking. He's exciting. Got the mullet. He's the favorite in this. But at short notice, Brian Ortega, there's no camp to put together. His jiu-jitsu is out of this fucking world. I mean, he almost tapped out Alexander Volkanovski. I don't know how Volk got out of it, but out of this fucking world. So we'll say Diego Lopez is as good as Brian Ortega. I don't think he is, but we'll just say he is. So they cancel each other out. I don't see a submission happening there. Ortega's got some nasty boxing. And Diego Lopez, we haven't seen him have to go deep into a fight other than the Movsar-Evloev fight, which looked great in. Movsar is pushing you not making you work. He's making you try to get up, which exhausts you. But we've never seen Diego Lopez have to actually put out a high volume output where he's working the whole fight. I don't think he has a single fight where he's landed over 100 strikes, which no knock to him. He's been fucking finishing. I mean, he's a finisher, dude. Does what he does. But I love Brian T-City Ortega at +120, and I hate myself for making that pick because I'm picking so many dogs tonight. I mean, last 3 picks, maybe 4, I don't know. Dogs. Yeah, last 3 picks, dogs. But I love it. I love these odds. The fights are all so close. I can't wait for this card. It's fucking unreal. And then finally, so yeah, $100 on T-City wins you 220 on that one. We're doing it. We're doing 100 on T-City. So we got a 150 left, and we're dropping it on Pereira. Huge Alex Pereira fan. I love this fight, and I don't necessarily think he's gonna win ever when he's fighting. I always think, man, dude, people would just wrestle him and just Khabib shoot right away. Go for that fucking takedown. He might have some trouble, but nobody fucking does. Everyone says, I can strike with him. I can strike with this guy. I can do it. Only one guy has in the UFC, Israel Adesanya, and he got knocked out the first time trying it. So maybe Yuri has a good chance coming back. Second time around, he's going to get it. He did piece him up a little bit in that first round. All 3 judges had him winning the first round in their first fight. I love Pereira here because in such a close fight, he's got the nuclear option. He's a minus, I think, 140, 150 favorite, but we're going with Pereira by knockout because that's his path to victory. +120, $150 wins you 130. I love him here. He's a knockout artist. That's what the guy does. He's got the touch of death, the death note. He sees him right before he throws that left hook. He writes the name in the notebook, and they're dead. They're done. Finishes them. So I got Alex Pereira in that. Listen, Yuri's got a solid shot to win it. They're both coming in short notice, but Yuri's never out of camp. He's always doing weird shit, training super hard in the woods and shit. Love it. Pereira was over in Australia. He's got some broken toes. It's short notice. I think Pereira is gonna catch him again. He's so fucking good at catching people with that short left hook. I mean, it just fucking ends people. Alright, so once again, our picks for this card. We got Vinicius Oliveira, $50 on him. $100 on Jillian Robertson. $100 on Charles Air Jourdain. We got $50 on Cub Swanson. $100 on B. Joe Pfeiffer. 100 on MVP, 100 on Anthony Smith, 150 on Alex by knockout, and that 100 on Joe Pyfer was also by knockout. That's our picks for this card. I seriously can't wait. You're going to want to tune in this Saturday. It's going to be a fucking banger. I can't tell you enough. These fights, great matchups. When you see odds this close, it's great matchups. And if you're looking for something else to watch this weekend, we also got PFL 5. They're going to have Brendan Loughnane. He's taking on fucking somebody. I don't know. It's not the best card that they've put on. I'll say that. But it's a card. It's MMA. It's something to watch. We might see some crazy fun finishes. The 145-pound division is usually a lot of fun. This year, it's nah. But that's this Friday on ESPN Plus on ESPN. So check that out also. Thank you for tuning in. This has been Matt with Blood and Beer.